Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for this presentation. We're briefly covering Lancaster's journey over the last 12 years with using Pure and going with those. So there's myself, Chris Adams, and my colleagues Helen and Yvonne. Thanks. So first, going back to the year 2010 when everything was kicking off. So there we go. Everyone was dancing to California Girls by Katy Perry. So things. No. That's things. The UK was celebrating another famous engagement at the time, and that was Will and Kate were getting engaged. And everybody was trying to pronounce this Icelandic volcano, which I'm not even going to try. Things. But as you can see, the ash cloud made conferences like this particularly difficult to get through. But luckily, the ash cloud seemed to have missed Lancaster, which leads us on to who are we and where are we from. So Lancaster University, we're in the northwest of England, located just on the map there with our little shield. By train, we're about 2.5 hours from London, and yeah, fairly central for the UK, but when it comes to most things, it's the northwest of England. Right. This is our campus in the south of the picture. We're a self-contained campus just outside of the main city of Lancaster itself, and in the background there you can see the seaside town of Morecambe, which is our neighbour, which is also where the new Eden Project North is being constructed. Okay, but we're not just in the UK. We've got several campuses and working partnerships across the world, including Leipzig in Germany, Ghana, Malaysia and China. Okay, how big are we? We're about 16,500 students, 3,500 staff, and I'll pass over to Helen for how we're ranked.
So, how are we ranked? We're ranked 10th in the UK and top in the Northwest. And also we perform really well in the world rankings. And why did we choose Pure?
So, why did we choose Pure? So what was Lancaster looking for and why? So at the time, 2010, we didn't have a current research information system, but we did have aspirations. We had 3 main aspirations and needed a system to deliver them. One, we wanted to collect and record information about our research, and ideally linking our academics to their research activities and their outputs, and to link in PGR students and other activities and funding, etc. And we wanted something with a bit of a workflow as well. Secondly, we wanted to make our research information available and to reduce all the ad hoc requests for reporting that we used to get, and also to make our research much more visible to the outside world. And thirdly, we wanted to enable efficient reporting and monitoring of our research. And a key element of that was our ability to be able to assist with the information for our National Research Assessment Exercise, which you'll all have heard much about. And also to assist with our strategic development and planning process. So we didn't have anything like a CRIS system, as I've mentioned, but wanted to implement a research information system for management and dissemination purposes, and to replace our existing disparate systems and very manual processes. And so, in May 2010, we issued our invitation to tender. And that's when we made the decision to choose Pure. So, from our ITT, we had, I think, 7 applications now, but 3 really serious contenders. And we invited them to present their system to a mixed group of academics and administrators at Lancaster. And we were most impressed by a small Danish company called Atira. So we chose Atira at the time. And key to our decision was that they had a forward plan to build the ref functionality into their system and have a separate ref module. And this was vital to our own plans. And as I say, the rest is history. Atira became Pure, owned by Elsevier. But at that time, when we chose that small Danish company. We were the 6th university in the UK to adopt Pure as our research information system. And our target implementation date was May 2010, and we achieved that with the help of colleagues from Pure. Click onto a screenshot. And so now our full system interacts with our HR department systems, with our finance systems, with costing and student systems, as well as with our repository.
So REF, I'm sure you've already heard a lot about REF, so I won't go into too much detail. But for those who don't know what it is, it's the Research Excellence Framework. And it's the UK system for assessing the quality of research in UK universities. At Lancaster, in 2008, we submitted the last research assessment exercise, which was later replaced by REF, and without a research information management system to do it. This involved a lot of paperwork and a lot of trawling through files. In 2014, we used Pure, including the new REF functionality, to submit. This allowed us to store our data in one place, as well as being able to submit quickly and easily with the REF return, and it reduced the burden on our admin staff, allowing them to focus on the quality of the return, especially with the introduction of the new impact case studies. In 2021, Elsevier was able to improve on the REF functionality and introduce a new summary windows and allocation algorithms, which helped to further reduce the admin burden. It was vital as we had a jump in the number of staff FTE, and we were able to transfer all the data smoothly into the REF submission system despite the short development time given to Elsevier. Speaking of system integrations.
Back to me. So at Lancaster, as you can see, we have thousands of records from various different types that we need to integrate and merge with our academics. And as Yvonne has mentioned before, we link our staff records, finance, students, PDRs, personal development records, and our repository with e-prints as well. So we've needed a way of integrating all of these separate systems with Pure and merging and getting all the data together. We will then also need to take that information out again and put it into our externally facing web pages. So how do we do that? We do that using this little data flow chart that we've got here. So you can see we use our internal systems, we merge those together into a data hub for the database syncs into Pure. We're also able to pull in information from external sources like Data Monitor, ORCID, Scopus and SciVal that pulls vital information into Pure directly. Pure then links all of these together with the academics, departments, research groups, with each other as well. So we're linking applications, awards, projects with activities, impacts. Everything is linked into a massive matrix within Pure, and it then comes out of Pure again into the research portal, which for us is an internal system in the back end, so that we can conduct, our researchers can look for each other for collaborations, but we then pull it out again into the data hub, which can then link into the websites. So all of our academic and PhD students have profiles which they populate using Pure. That updates and becomes their publicly visible profiles. We also pull to various public equipment lists like the NA funding things, so people can find what equipment we have at Lancaster. Our repository I've mentioned. We're just launching our PDR service, so academics and colleagues can start developing their promotion cases and workflows with their line managers and seeing what activities they have in Pure, pulling through to there, and the data sets as well. But everyone's used to those, that's what happens at setup, but after 12 years we've actually changed some of these key systems. We've migrated our staff records, we've gone from Oracle to HR Core, we've changed our finance systems and our costings from PFAT to Aggresso. And as you can imagine, these are very simple transitions to going over. And it's, you can imagine that's Nikolai or some of the Elsevier team trawling through our records trying to find different bits. It's like find the blue cable in that mess and join it to things. So it's, whilst it is a complicated set of things, it's actually been a smooth transition for each of these systems thanks to the help that Elsevier gives and its support. It's not just the systems that changed. I'm actually the 3rd research systems administrator at Lancaster, so not only do we change all of those systems, when I come in, I've come in after these changes, so I've got to learn where everything started, where are we now. And I've been using the masterclasses, one-to-one meetings with Elsevier, and even the new accreditation schemes. They keep me up to date with everything, and I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I'm still learning new things. Even at this conference, there's sat in certain things, and somebody says, "Oh, I just do this," as an offhand comment, and I'm like, "Wait, we can do what?" So never be afraid that you're learning new things. Everybody's on a continuous learning, and we're all growing together. So that's what we've done in the past. What are we doing now? We are migrating to cloud hosting. We're also changing our custom portal to the, well, it was known as the new portal, but it's now the portal. We're recording more information in Pure. We're creating new fields, new classifications, schemes, new templates coming in, because we're being asked to record new things, knowledge exchange, business and community engagement. We're building bigger, better, newer reports with the reporting module with Nikolai on speed dial, who runs away every time the phone rings. But it's still important to remember that Pure still offers those key things that we were looking for all those years ago. It allows us to collect and record information about our research. It makes our research information available to wide public, not just the academic world, but the wider public world. It enables efficient reporting and monitoring, so when academics are saying, "I need to submit something yesterday," we're able to report things quickly and give them the information. I'm passing over to Helen for even more new and exciting things.
So what we're up to next, we've got the Pure Assessment module going live in November, and our academic community are looking forward to prepping for the submission using our open access rules from the last ref module. We've also been exploring customer-defined fields to broaden the data we store within Pure, especially engagement and activity data. And one of the major projects that we've been doing this year is the data quality. So we've been looking at all our data and trying to tidy it up, especially with university departments and numerous funding bodies. And one big piece of data that we're going to do next year is countries. So what does the future hold? I think this meme explains what it's like with everyone selling new products. But we're currently mapping and exploring the award management module in order to help improve the user experience and create a workflow of the research lifecycle. Whilst we're also looking at repository to replace e-prints and hold our outputs, whilst exploring a new costing system that would be able to link in with the awards management module. And as we've already said, we're looking at policy engagement as it's really important, and we're creating new templates. First and foremost is the policy engagement tool. Lastly, we're preparing ourselves for Ref 28. We're looking forward to what the next 12 years will bring. Thanks.
So, any questions? Yes.
So informative. It's like I come to these conferences and I think, I'm really smart, and then I'm like, no, I'm not. So I have a couple of questions. One, when you measure impacts, what do you include? And when you talk about engagement data, what does that include?
Yeah, so I'll do that. So we use the impact module in Pure, which is a good grounding base for reporting the impact. So the easiest way to define impact is any change that we can attribute to anything that our academics and staff have done. So, and it's very difficult to put in the difference between, say, an activity and an impact. So we're teaching our staff that going to a conference or a school is the activity, but anything they say that's changed because of that visit is the impact it's done. If the school's changed the policy, that's impact. If the students are just saying they're happier or they've gotten rid of their uniform, that's an impact that we can record. And in the UK, we can expand on those for the ref and producing impact case studies of saying how big these impacts have grown over the years, and the impact module in Pure allows us to build a narrative right from the beginning, storing information, evidence, and just keep growing and growing the record, so that when we're looking in 6-7 years for the ref, we can come back and say, here are the contact details, these are the people that have been agreed to speak to us, and we can just keep expanding that. So that's the impact side of things, and with the engagement side, it's a bit harder to define, and we've been keep retooling our different categories coming into it as well. We're trying to work out where things are just academic engagement, business engagement, public engagement. So sometimes we relabel what the categories in Pure are. So we've got participation in conference, but that's now been split up to participation in conference academic, mixed, business. So it's gone from 1 category to 3 categories, because that's the most popular area for recording activities in Pure. We've agreed to split those into 3 parts, but in other areas we're trying to truncate it down into smaller parts and expand on it in the description fields. So, thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry, one from me here. Christine from the University of Limerick in Ireland, and we're just beginning our Pure journey, so this is really, really helpful for me. My big question is there anything as a unit that was tasked to deliver this that you would do differently, looking back now on the last 10 years?
That's a really interesting question, and I think hindsight's always a great thing, isn't it? And I think communication you always think you've got the communication right, and you spend quite a lot of time thinking about how you communicate to our stakeholders what we're doing. But looking back, I can think there are things that we could have done differently, and perhaps more frequently, just to engage perhaps with those stakeholders. So I think any advice I would give anybody implementing Pure sort of going forward is think really carefully about your communication, and then double what you're going to do, because it's always better to over-communicate than under-communicate. So I think that's the main message.
Just to expand on that as well, as we've said before, over 12 years, Pure changes quite a lot, and it can be small, subtle changes throughout the year. So do encourage academics and users to constantly come for Pure training, not just at the beginning, because we do have a lot of staff who got their Pure training right at the beginning, and then 6 years later we ask them to do something in Pure, and they're like, Pure doesn't do that. It's like, it does, it's done it for 3 years, but you've not come for the retraining. So do incorporate the retraining into your plans for it as well.
Thank you very much. I think we ran out of time there.
Thank you. But if you do have any other questions, please find us and talk to us.